All right, so I want to be super honest today, and we have to ask ourselves, but does the Marmont have staying power? Now, listen, recently I was over on the Purse blog because, as you all know, that's where you get your hard-hitting facts, your daily news, if you will. And over there, they ask some spicy questions. There's always like a really good discourse going back and forth on the comments, and this time they're asking, does the Marmont have staying power? But before we dive into all that, hey guys, my name's Caleb. I post lifestyle and luxury related content every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So if that's something you're into, hit the subscribe button down below. And believe it or not, we have a really awesome membership. So for more information on how you can become a member of the Safe Space community, check out the join button down below. Now today, we're gonna dive in, we're gonna learn a little bit more about the Marmont history, where it's headed, DeSarno's vision for Gucci. There are some big questions that we're going to be asking ourselves today. So I guess to fully understand the Marmont, we have to first learn about its history, like what it is, what's it doing, why is it here? And we can blame Alessandro Michele for one of the most popular handbags in recent history. No joke, guys. So according to Google, this is the third most searched bag on Google behind the Birkin and the LV Neverfull. Who knew? So Alessandro Michele himself got his start at Gucci in 2002, and he slowly worked up the ranks until 2015 when he debuted his first collection, which featured the Dionysus handbag. Dionysus, however you say it, I say Dionysus. And that one skyrocketed to instant fame and success. It was on the shoulder of every celebrity, every Instagrammer had a Dionysus, every YouTuber had a Dionysus. I wasn't on YouTube yet, and I've never had a Dionysus, but that's beside the point. There's still time. This bag was so phenomenally popular that it was amazing that he was able to strike gold again in the following year of 2016 when he debuted the Marmont bag. I love mine. This is such a good bag. Now, the name Marmont evokes the Chateau Marmont in Hollywood, a very historic landmark. Now, this place opened in 1929. It's supposed to be a luxury apartment complex, but if you're familiar with financial history, 1929 was not a good year to do that because immediately after that, we fell into the Depression, and eventually the Chateau Marmont was sold off and turned into a beautiful hotel. Now, this hotel has a very storied past. According to some sources, they say this is the place to stay for those on their way up in Hollywood and for those on their way down in Hollywood. So there's a lot of very interesting history there to look up, and it's no secret Alessandro Michele was very much inspired by the Chateau Marmont because not only do we get the Marmont bag, but he later followed that up with an entire Chateau Marmont collection. It was 100% a vibe. And as it was designed, it was inspired by the Chateau d'Amboise, which is located in the Loire Valley in France. Beautiful location, but you can see, like, looking at like a lot of the common spaces, the lounges, you can see a lot of inspiration behind Alessandro Michele's overall work. I think there's kind of an underlying bohemian theme, a little bit of, Spanish influence as far as the interiors go, and there's kind of something a little bit sinister and almost Wes Anderson about the property itself. So if you have a moment, you're not familiar with the Chateau Marmont, go and check it out. It is completely a vibe, 100%. So the hardware on this bag, which is iconic Marmont, was pulled from a 70s inspired belt in the Gucci archives. With that in mind, if you have a chance to go to Florence and go through the Gucci Museum, I 100% recommend it. There is so much history. They actually have the Cadillac Seville Gucci edition on display. It is a vibe. Go and check it out. And over the course of the last 6 or 7 years that we've been blessed by the Marmont, we have seen so many iterations. Any little micro trend that has possibly come out in those 6 or 7 years, the Marmont has done it. Any size you could think of, it's come in the camera bag, which I have. The most common bag is the flat bag, top handles, backpacks, drawstring bags, bucket bags, small leather goods. Literally anything possible. As far as trends or finishes go, the Marmont has seen it and done it well. And aside from occupying all those special trends, micro aesthetics over the last few years, the marketing of this bag was phenomenal. Alessandro Michele handed it out to all of his influential friends, Instagrammers. I mean, this bag is probably one of the most photographed bags over on Instagram, maybe aside from a few YSL bags and Birkins, but this bag, you could not scroll through the style section of Instagram and not see a Gucci Marmont. It is a gorgeous bag. Now, a lot of people, myself included, hated the heart on the back of the bag. Too cutesy. I love the quilting, I love the big GGs. This is my bag that I carry when I want to be tacky in the summertime because it is 100% a vibe, but the heart is why I didn't get into the Marmont sooner. It just seemed to be on every single bag. Now, you either love the heart or you hate the heart. I'm in the hate camp, I'm sorry, safe space, but it just was not my vibe. So as soon as I saw a bag come out that was in a color that I liked, a material that I liked, and did not have that heart, I knew I had to have it, and I'm so glad I did. Now, a little bit of history on my Marmont bag and why I have one. I originally saw this when we were vacationing here in Chicago before we moved here a couple of years ago, on display at the flagship over on Michigan Avenue. Immediately fell in love. I couldn't decide if I wanted this blue camera bag version or the green flap version, but I knew a Gucci multicolor Marmont was going to be in my collection one way or another. Now, I kind of slept on it because I had just bought my YSL Sade clutch that same weekend, so I was like, I can't buy 2 bags. But when we found ourselves in Spain on vacation at the end of 2021, they had one left at the Gucci boutique there on the Passeig de Gracia. If you haven't watched it, I have a whole Spain travel vlog and unboxings. I bought 2 Gucci bags of Balenciaga and a long shop. I went a little overboard, but that's what vacations are for, right? And they had one of these left, and after a glass of champagne, I was like, you know what? Box it up. I'm taking it home. I love this bag. Now, much to my chagrin, a few months later, it showed up here at our Rosemont outlets here in Chicago for a lot less than what I paid, and I'm still waiting on my VAT to come back. Thank you, Portugal. I couldn't be happier with this bag. This was one of my most used bags there for, I think, 2022 and a little bit of 2023. I haven't reached for it in a minute just because I'm kind of evolving into more a less is more aesthetic, if you will, as far as my bags go, like the big splashy monogram logos. I've really got to be in the mood to pull them off lately, but I am so happy that I didn't wait. Granted, I could have waited, another, I think it was like literally a week and a half after we got back there at the outlets. Okay, I might be exaggerating, maybe a little bit longer, but it was within a month or two, not gonna lie. Risking not getting this bag was just not worth it to me to try and save a couple $100, so I'm super glad I got this. However, I did pick up the matching wallet in the pink though at the outlet, and I saved a good chunk of money, so that kind of makes up for it, right? A little bit. Maybe. But this just goes to show, like, not only did it come in the camera bag and all sorts of other bags, it also came in a ton of leather goods, pouches, key pouches, little wallets, card holders, you name it. The Marmont's done it. And I think that that was a huge part of its success and helped kind of re-elevate Gucci back to its powerhouse days of like the early 2000s for the latter parts of the 2010s. That brings us to today. So as you all know, Alessandro Michele abruptly left Gucci, which is such a shame. I know I was complaining about his aesthetic a lot there at the end, but it was playful, it was fun, it was whimsical, it was over the top, the jewelry was amazing. I have lots of his runway pieces, both ready to wear, jewelry, accessories, you name it. I'm a little bit worried for bags like the Dionysus or the Marmont or the Ophidia collection, which albeit is not one of my most favorites, but I can still appreciate it. Does that have a place in De Sarno's new Gucci? Now, for those of you not familiar with Sabato De Sarno, he got his start in 2005 over at Prada. After a few years there, went over to Dolce & Gabbana, and then now this is his first time leading a house at the House of Gucci. And according to De Sarno, he directly quotes that he wants people to recognize Gucci by the shape. So with that in mind, does something like the Marmont with its big GG monogram here on the front and its different treatments of monogram and other splashiness, does it have a place in Sabato De Sarno's Gucci? I don't know, I'm a little worried. He did unveil his first collection at the 2023 Milan Fashion Week. From what I gather from watching the show, he was kind of playing around with the different techniques of Gucci, different icons, different, monograms, logos, but it was definitely a little bit more pulled back. So I'm thinking, especially judging by his new packaging, which is just like the simple white with the Gucci emblazoned in like a nice light champagne-y silver color, I do think we're gonna be seeing a little bit more of a refined sartorial version of Gucci that we haven't really seen since Frida Giannini and Tom Ford, and hopefully a little bit of sexiness. Now, don't get me wrong, I loved Alessandro Michele, but whimsical Gucci was certainly not sexy, if you know what I mean. It was very over the top, very frilly, very flamboyant, which is 100% my vibe. It's gonna be interesting to see though if De Sarno really keeps the Marmont and other different icons. Now, historically we do know that Gucci did keep the Soho Disco, albeit hidden in the back, throughout the Alessandro Michele era. It was recently redone as the Gucci Blondie, which I have some opinions on the new redesign, so if you want to know what they are, let me know down in the comments. We could do a whole other video on different Gucci bags and their histories. But like I said, under De Sarno, does the Marmont still have a place within the house? Only time's gonna tell. What I do know is that the resale value is still incredibly strong for the Gucci Marmont, especially if you check out Fashion File, like the bag I have here, which I'll link down below, is currently on sale for only $794, which is a really good deal. But if you go with the more classic flap versions or the more elevated, like whimsical versions, still several $1,000s. Also, like I mentioned before, the Gucci Marmont is still considered the third most popular handbag in the world, only behind the Birkin and the Louis Vuitton Neverfull. Hopefully with that in mind, the house is going to be able to maybe elevate it a little bit, but also keep it in its lineup. There are a few versions right now that I really love, like the yellow velvet with the GG metal emblems all over. That was 100% a vibe. Like I said, only time is going to tell, and I'm super excited to see what DeSarno is going to do with Gucci. Hopefully with his next collection, we can get like a better feel for what his vision's going to be, where he wants to take Gucci, what he wants to do with the brand, and I'm super excited for it. I'm here for the journey. Let me know down in the comments, do you have a Marmont bag, or are you like me? Did you hate the heart and you kind of slept on the Marmont? Until I got the perfect one, right? Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? And does the Marmont still have a place at Gucci? Like I said, we've seen this bag for 6 or 7 years, which compared to other houses, looking at you, LV, that's a long time these days for a handbag to stay at a house. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining me today. Until next time, stay safe, have fun. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.